basics of opal mining are simply to extract the pay dirt from underground, find a way to process it to reveal the opal. And how we do that here, or how I do that here, is that machine there, they call it a blower, but in actual fact it's like a giant vacuum cleaner. It's got huge vacuum and it's got huge suction. So we dig the dirt underground. We've got a little digging machine. So we dig it out of the face, put it up into the blower, and out of the blower it'll end up on a truck, and then we'll take the truck over to a cement mixer, which is a processing plant. We'll feed it into the cement mixer, and as it's rolling around we're feeding water in there as well. So you've got friction from the dirt against the edge of the barrel, friction from the dirt on itself, and with the water going in, the silt comes out from windows inside the cement mixer. So then it goes out as silt, and it depends how hard the dirt is to how long it needs to be processed for. But eventually, say if we put 30 tons or 50 tons of dirt into the cement mixer, which might take us a few days, we should end up at the end maybe with 1 cubic meter left, that's all. And we reverse that out onto a table, and you just check through it to see if there's any opal there or not. And because opal is like a silica, it's almost like a glass for the same hardness and the same content, so it doesn't wear away. It can sort of rub a little bit, grind a tiny bit, but it won't actually dissolve into nothing. So you can get the dirt dissolves away, but the opal stays. Hopefully there's opal in there for it to stay. We're at the moment, we're digging some extremely hard ground, so we're probably doing about maybe 10 tons only, where if you had what we call normal or the most common type of opal clay or pay dirt, kaolin clay, we could do maybe 25 tons in 3 hours, but it's so hard that we're doing about 10 in 6 or 7 hours. It's very hard on everything, hard on the machinery, on the bends, on the digger, on the teeth, on the agitator, the processing plant. It's hard in every single way. To try and understand the yield per ton, it's almost impossible. Unless you're, and I'm not, but unless you're a person who keeps records over several years, because you can have long periods, literally years, without getting much, or if you're lucky you can find a fairly big pocket in a short period of time. I've tried to work it out, and the honest answer is I don't know, but this area has kept me alive now for at least 10 years, so I've been able to make a living out of it, feed my family, feed myself, and be reasonably comfortable. Sometimes we go right to the edge. I have an overdraft and it comes close to the limit and it comes down, so we're up and down, but we're not actually in the millions of dollars, which is what we're hoping for every day, but it could happen today or tomorrow, but so far it hasn't. I don't have any employees. I've got a partner. I've got a friend of mine, Damon, there he is. So it's just the two of us who run this operation. And I would say easy 99% of all the mining operations around here are just partnerships. 2 people. Quite often you get one person on their own, 2 people. Sometimes you see 3 or 4, but when you really think about it, once you start getting into the 3 or 4, you have to find a lot of opal for it to go around. Once you take the expenses out, split up the percentages, all of that, you need a big patch of opal to make some decent money. If I were to guess how many miners there would be, it would only be a guess. It's really hard in Lightning Ridge. It's one of the most beautiful things about it is that it's all done by individuals. So to get accurate figures on how many people there are mining is difficult. But if I was to guess, I would say full-time teams, I'd be surprised if there's more than 50 or 60, but quite likely a fair bit less. So you haven't got that many people actually full-time mining for black opal. There's a transient setup where people come and will work for a month or 2, they take time off work and then go back to their ordinary job. But as far as full-time people, yeah, I'd be surprised if there was 50 or 60 teams. So it's basically a giant vacuum cleaner, that's all. It's called a blower, but it's a sucker, right. Yeah, and it's got huge suction. See these pipes, they go underground? So the dirt actually comes up from underground through that into the hopper, and then tips out in the back of the truck. Come this side, I'll show you. 2 fans, pulley setup, clutch, 6-cylinder diesel motor. This thing's got to work really, really hard to make vacuum for it to be able to suck so much. But that pipe is 9-inch wide, and anything you can fit up there, it doesn't matter how big, if it fits inside or how heavy, it'll just suck it up. It's totally incredible. If you get your foot near it, it'll just suck your foot in it. You won't be able to let go of it. So it's really powerful. Because it's hard here, because it takes us longer to load, we're sort of 5 or 6 hours a day running this. We're working 7 days a week, but part of the operation is also the processing. So this is probably 5 to 6 days a week, and the processing 1 to 2 days a week. It's a really huge expense. It's a freaking big expense. We probably average between 150 to 200 litres of diesel per day. You cannot possibly go opal mining without learning how to fix equipment. If you don't know how to do the basics yourself, a little bit of welding, how to bleed a motor, how to change filters, oils, do belts, tighten up stuff, fix small jobs, then you can't last in this industry, because it's a constant part of it, constant everyday part of the operation. Boilermakers, engineers, welders who know this equipment, and if you can get them, if they'll do the work for you, they're perfect. You'll actually get stuff done quicker than you would in a city, because if they see a lot of the operation, because it's on the small scale, and it's because it's between people who are struggling, who are broke, and all of that. If people know that you are down, but you're really, really trying, they'll help you somehow. It's a beautiful thing. Most of it's actually made locally. There's a Danish bloke who built this equipment. He built this, the diggers. There's another one. We've got another digging machine over on the other side. It's called the Super Digger. Rex Boyce built that one. So a lot of this was developed locally, which is quite remarkable. It's similar to a backhoe or an excavator. It's got a bucket, a stick, and a boom. It's hydraulically driven. It's got 2 leg rams and a roof ram, so it actually jams itself in to the ground. So when you try and dig, otherwise it'd just fall over, it'd push back. And we've got 2 teeth on the end of it like that, and just try and cut the dirt out from underneath, and then send it into the pipe that feeds that blower. So the hydraulic motors run off the same motor as what the blower is, set up with a pulley system. So the blower and the digger run off that motor. So you remember when we were standing on the ground and those pipes were going underground? This then, it'll give you a reference where we are compared to the surface. Okay, this is, it's run by hydraulics. See the hoses? And see these rams? So basically, actually these rams are exactly like your muscles. They either contract or push out, right? So they pull in or push out. So this ram will move this bucket up and down that way. That ram up here will move this up and down that way. And this ram here will move the whole thing over and down. Now for this to be able to dig, it needs to be supported. So you've got the legs, these 2 legs, and this roof ram. So that'll jam it into the roof, and then what I'll do is I'll push it out. It's like your arm reaching out and scraping it down. So you're just like scraping it out that way. It's simple, but it's ingenious. It's actually beautiful. This is it's opal, but it's colourless opal, so it's just black. But what that means is the country's alive. It can produce it, you know. Oh, look, there's blue. Ah, we're getting closer. So this is just how it sits in the wall like that. If there's a recipe that nature makes to make opal, all the ingredients are here. It's just got to put them together right for there to be that black with a beautiful red colour bar that's about that thick, that's really, really clean, with a broad pattern, And yeah, it'll be party for ages.
Okay.
It's hard to pick unless you get used to it, but there's sandstone just above your head there. It's quite a coarse grain sandstone. They call it kaolin clay, and it seems like most of the time, the shallower it is, the harder it is for some reason. So comparatively speaking, for Lightning Ridge, we're in shallow ground now. So we're, approximately 22, 23 feet to the roof. So a little bit lower there. The Opal, interestingly enough, can run straight under the sandstone within a distance of maybe 10, 20 centimetres. And we're also getting bands. We get one here, so you can say that's within almost a metre. And then sometimes down here as well. So we've got 3 different bands where the silica comes in to make the Opal. But it appears to be, on an average, fairly horizontal, as if it was a riverbed or a lake bed or something. It's definitely got to do with water because we get fossil shells, little tiny shells that are opalized. So obviously water was involved. Most of what we call knobby country, so in nodule country, sometimes you'll get what they call a run, where you'll have a large area where off and on there's knobbies all through it. Sometimes it's just potch, or sometimes there's potch and colour involved, and sometimes it's good quality colour. Other times you'll get what they call pockets. It's like you'll get nothing, and then all of a sudden you'll get a concentration of an area. Maybe it's only as big as a bonnet of a car, but it'll be like a concentration of knobbies everywhere in that, and you'll get, some of them can be 100,000, 200,000, whatever, if the quality is good enough. In seam country, when you get out into the further fields away, you actually get seam, so it sits in the wall as a seam.
You can trace it.
You can trace it. Now you can get exceptionally good quality seam, but on the average or in the majority, knobby opal is better. Not always, but probably
Overall,
90%
the
overall,
quality
knobby opal is better. It'll always fetch a better price as well. But when we go out drilling on a new lease, when we're starting a new project in virgin ground, say, what we'll do is I'll approach it in a way, I'll see what the ground says. So we'll start off drilling quite deep, we might go 75, 80 feet deep. And then after, a week or two of drilling, then we'll start to get a feel of where the main level is, the main kaolin clay level or the carry level is. So in the beginning, what I'm looking for is a good sandstone, a good level underneath. Once I get those two, then I know, okay, now we're in, it's starting. And then I want to see potch, and then after that I want to see colour. And as soon as I see colour, then it's on. Then everything starts. It's like we'll go and get a 3-foot hole put down, we'll set the blower up, we'll go and dig a few loads out. But if I'm not seeing colour, then I'm not going underground. We're at the puddling site. This is the last part of the operation. We loaded that truck from underground, put the dirt on there, and then we've put it inside that agitator. And I think it's about 35 hours now that it's been spinning, wearing it down. So what we'll do is we'll reverse it out, and it'll come out on the table, and then we'll check through that to see if there's any opal. So this is the exciting bit, or the disappointing bit, or the heartbreaking bit, or the ecstasy, ecstasy or agony. No, this is my machine, or Damon and me, we have that machine. But every team has their own setup. So we've got 2 here, we've got this one and that one, and then every other machine belongs to a different team. We have knobbies rather than seams, so they'll come in sort of like a nodule, and there'll be lots of material in here and a little bit of colour, but we don't really know. So we're hoping we might fluke a couple of good stones. That will change everything, but I'm sure that there will definitely be colour in there. What will usually happen with this is they'll make it into a conventional shape. It'll turn out to be an oval, roughly like that, maybe almost round. But actually lose this bit to get a perfect stone, where if you carved it, so you just carve the sand out and polish it, you'd maximize and you'd get the most beautiful color, yet not the most value, which is a shame because so much opal's actually wasted to make it into a conventional shape, either an oval or a circle or something like that, and you're literally grinding the color away to make a conventional shape. Why are people so set in, oh, it has to look like this, they make these rules and regulations? Opal's freestyle, man, it's beautiful just the way it is.
You're on Turner's Field here. There's 24 claims here. There's over 4 kilometres of drives underground we can walk you through. It's been one of probably, if not the best seam patch found so far to date. It was found in 2002 and it's still going strong at the moment.
I noticed that you're not using a vacuum like some of the other mines.
I do have a vacuum over on the other claim over there. Economics of it all, the blower, the generator was using a couple of 100 litres a day. I'm moving just as much dirt and I'm using 60 litres a day. So in those tough periods, especially when we had the economic downturn and Opal wasn't worth much, we lost 60% of its value. We had to go back to, and our fuel price was nearly $2 a litre, we had to go back to other means to make it cheaper mining, more affordable. There is no particular difference in our mining methods, except for knobby country. You must wash all your dirt, must be processed because it could be a piece here, a piece there, a piece anywhere. Most seam country, 90% of it, forms in layers which run so you can actually follow it all the way. You don't have to actually wash your dirt. The biggest opal I found here was the size of a microwave. Blue-green colour bars that thick, sitting on black pots that thick. Like that, like that. When I come in 87, my family come here with not even enough fuel money, you could say, to turn around after we left school. Just the brothers coming up with the family. Found a bit of a pocket. That pocket lasted till 1990. In 1990 we found Alars. That pocket at Alars lasted till 99. And from 99, not another cent. From 1990 to 99, not one other cent. Just that pocket we found then. And then in 99 I found another little pocket, which got me up to 2005. And I've been here ever since, just finding little bits and occasionally a good bit. So it's a long way in between. And because no one pays me to go to work, I have to pay to come to work. I've got to treat it like a regular job and I've got to be constant about it or you just go under real quick. And most people you'll find in mining, if they're serious, they will accumulate once they find money. If you want to own something, you must declare it. So they'll declare it, own something, and then at the moment that they can't afford to mine anymore, they'll sell whatever they got to keep mining. My best way to describe opal mining is that some people get an addiction. Some people get addicted to gambling. Some people get addicted to drugs. When you've got the opal bug, there is nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it in the world. Every last little thing goes into the effort of digging out a better one than you last found.